When children misbehave, timeout allows parents to take children from where they are acting up and put them in a safe place away from the things they like, such as their toys. Timeout gives children and parents time to calm down and regroup.
Timeout's an effective tool because it is neutral, because it really addresses those behaviors that are really about getting a child's attention, and because it's safe.
There are 5 steps to using timeout. Step 1. Check the behavior. Use timeout for serious problem behaviors, such as breaking a family rule. Warn your child that they'll go to timeout if they don't stop the behavior. And if you give a warning, always be willing to follow through.
So if you tell a child that there's going to be a consequence, you better be ready to follow through. And you really can't threaten consequences you're not ready to put into action.
Step 2. Tell the child they are going to timeout and why. It's important that you let your child know clearly what they did to get the timeout. Step 3. Have the child sit in timeout. You may need to lead your child to timeout. If your child won't go, walk them to timeout. As a last resort, carry them to timeout. Make sure you carry them in a way that is safe for both you and your child.
Children don't want to go to timeout, of course, because it's something negative. You're removing them from a rewarding situation. So you can expect some unhappiness with it, some kicking sometimes, some screaming, that kind of thing. But if a child won't go, you take them by the hand, you make them go. If they still won't go, you pick them up, you put them in the timeout spot. I mean, it's non-negotiable.
Do not talk to your child while she is in timeout, but keep an eye on her to make sure she stays in timeout and is safe. Step 4. End timeout. If your child is quiet for the last 5 seconds or so of timeout, you may end timeout. You should give your child 1 minute of timeout for every year of age. So if a child is 3, you should give them a 3-minute timeout. Children should not be allowed to get out of doing what you told them to do. When timeout is over, have your child do what you originally told them to do before the timeout. Step 5. Praise the next good thing your child does. You want your child to know that timeout is over and that you still love her. There are other ways to do timeout that you may find useful. For example, if children are fighting over a toy or playing too rough with a particular toy, take the toy away and put it in timeout. You can also use timeout in a public place. Find a spot where your child will not be around other people, such as staring at a blank wall, and follow the steps for timeout you use at home.
You have to be thinking, well, if I'm going to have to use timeout, where am I going to use it in this particular situation? And you brainstorm all of that ahead of time so that you're not in a moment and then left with, oh, I don't know what to do here.
Using timeout will stop your child from acting up and let them know there is a consequence for misbehavior. Always follow timeout and other consequences with positive actions between you and your child. It's important that they know you still love them.